Hey, what's up, friends? Welcome back to the channel. This is Oston back again with another simple tutorial. So, this tutorial is all about guiding beginners on how to step into web development. So, I'm going to be talking about the difference between HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It's going to be very, very simple. So, all these three languages that I've talked about are front end based. You'll be designing the interface where the user will always be landing on. So, let's say the visual display of the website, web application, anything that you'll be creating. In this tutorial, that's what we are going to be talking about and showing you some little example on how we can use these different languages. So we are going to start with HTML. So what you don't have to confuse is HTML is not a programming language. HTML is a markup language that is used to create the skeleton or layout of a website or web page. So with HTML, you can lay out strategies on how you can the different markup, the tags you need to use, all those different tags they are created from HTML. So that's what you have to put in your head. HTML is not a programming language, it's a markup language that is used to create the structure of a web page. Plus, what you have to also put in mind is HTML is very easy to learn. 100%, it's very, very easy to learn. You're just writing tags, and later you apply CSS, which will be used for designing, as we are going to be looking at, and JavaScript to add some interactivity on your web page. So let's start with HTML. To create a simple document in HTML, let's say you have some empty file. Let's say you don't have this. What you have to do is create new file, Control S on your keyboard to save, or you can go back to the file word and say save file. But let's click Control S on your keyboard, and I'm going to save my file inside this folder called cards. And you can call it anything you want. I'm going to call mine index.html. So that's how you can create a simple file in HTML. So basically, we have created a file in HTML. That's how you create an HTML file. I'm going to zoom in. As I told you, HTML is there to like create the structure or layout of a website, and it's the skeleton or backbone of any kind of website that you meet on the web servers. So to create a simple structure in HTML, you have to first specify the document type. You say doc type. So here you are telling the browser the document type. We are going to say it is HTML. So that's the first tag you have to put in your mind or your web page when you're creating it. Back then, before this HTML5 came, we had to write a long line of code here, but it is now simplified. That's the only line of code that you have to put on the web page or website. So you're telling the browser this is an HTML document. And secondly, HTML has opening and closing tags. Unlike there are some tags that are self-closing, like the break tag, the horizontal tag, stuff like that. So I'm going to leave the links to some websites that will be teaching you much more about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I just want to show you how easy it is to work with these three languages. So what you have to also do, as I told you, HTML has opening and closing tags. So I have some autocomplete feature here, but basically you have to put the opening tag for HTML and closing tag for HTML. So everything on the website will be inside these two tags. They are nested tags. So this is the opening tag for HTML and closing tag. Secondly, we have what they call the head tag. And this head tag, let me first change on the color. I don't like the feel of that color. Let's go with that. So basically, now inside this head tag, we just place some extra information about the website or web pages. So inside the head tag, we can link to some styling sheets. We can put some extra information describing about this specific web page or website. And those tags that I'm talking about, we have the link tags. Those are the tags that can go inside this head tag. We have the meta tags. So those are all tags that can go inside here. We can put some links that will be linking to other pages. We can put JavaScript, but it's always advised to put your JavaScript below the page, as I'm going to be showing you. So what we are going to be putting right now, we are going to be just placing the title tag, and let's just put YouTube. Save. Now I'm going to open this page in the browser so that we'll be seeing what we're doing. It's inside the folder called cards here, and this is it, index.html. So I'm going to put them side by side so that we see them properly, plus this text editor. So as you can see, we are having the title tag here. As you can see, that's the title of the website. You can call now, assume it's your website and you want to give it a name. Let's say it's mine. I can just put here Oston code, save, reload it in the browser, and you'll see Oston there. So that's how you can put the title on your website. So we are going to go with this tag right for now in the head section. Then we have also what they call the body tag. So whatever you see on the website, this white space that you're seeing here is the body area. So anything that you see on the website is included inside this body tag. So that's how you can create a simple markup for HTML. This is how every website starts. That's a simple markup of a website. So I have shown you how you can create a simple markup for a website. Then we are just going to press a simple button here that we are going to be working with. This is how you create, oh, sorry, misspelled button. And I'm just going to call it subscribe. So when we refresh the page, as you can see, we have our button there. Let's place some h3 heading, and I say HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Let's save that, reload in the browser, and that's what we are having. Very, very simple. So basically, now we are just creating the skeleton of the web page. There's nothing like styling. Then this is where now CSS is going to come in. As you can see, we have created our layout or structure of a web page using HTML. Now we want to apply some styling to that page. Very, very simple. So that's how CSS comes in. As you know, CSS is a language that is used to describe the style of the HTML document. So this is our HTML document. So CSS will come in and describe the style of this document. And what you have to also put in mind, also CSS describes how HTML elements are displayed on a web page. We can position anything we want, give colors to that thing, and everything will be looking wow. But still, it will be a static website. There's nothing like interactivity where the user can click a button and they show this, bringing new images when the user does something. So that's what you have to put in your mind. CSS describes the style of the HTML document and also how things are displayed. What you have to also put in mind, CSS is also very easy to learn, as you're going to see in this simple tutorial. Now, with CSS, there are different ways we can use CSS. First, let me first put a comment here. In CSS, we can use the inline styling, inline style. We can use the external style, and we can use the import style. So there are very, very different ways on how we can use CSS. But for this tutorial, I'm going to be using the internal style. Internal. So there are different ways on how we can use CSS. In case you want to learn about CSS, I'm going to leave the links in the description below. I have some videos already talking about CSS. They are very, very easy to learn. So let's handle our CSS here. As I said, I'm going to be using the internal styling. So for the internal styling, we go inside this head tag. As I told you, the importance of this head tag, it carries some extra information about our web page and styling. So I'm going to put the style tag here, opening and closing. Then I'm going to place enter. We jump it onto the next line. Let me first zoom out. I guess that's better. Now for the styling, at times it's option or compulsory to put this attribute type. So here you're telling the browser what kind of file is this. We say text stroke CSS, but it's not compulsory or option. You can decide to use it or leave it. So we are telling the browser it is a text, it's text in format, and it's a cascading style sheet. So that's the full acronym of this CSS. So cascading style sheet. Now to target this button that we are having here inside CSS, we just put the button tag, the real name we gave to that button, open curly brace, and we can say background color, background dash color, and let's say we want to give it red and save. As you can see now, our button is red. So that's what I told you. We are just describing the display or feel of our website. That's what CSS is meant to do. Very, very simple. Now with CSS, still we can now give color to this heading that you're seeing here. You can just target the element. Now this is the selector. We are selecting the element. Then inside here, we set the property. Now we want to set the property, which is called color, and the value we can say, what color can we give it? Green. I'm using these color names because this tutorial is user friendly. We don't have to write hexadecimal values or RGB stuff like that. So as you can see, it's very, very easy to do anything to our HTML document using CSS, and we are using the internal styling. I'm not going to design a lot because this is user beginner friendly. So basically, I've given you some little understanding about CSS. Now let's talk about JavaScript. Now with JavaScript, JavaScript is a programming language. You have to also put that in mind. It is very easy to learn if you are to still be consistent, like learning about it. Now what we're going to do, we are just going to place a simple functionality on this button. When the user clicks it, we get some alert telling the user that has clicked that button. So JavaScript is a programming language that adds interactivity on your web page. So basically, this is a static website. There are colors, buttons, but the user will just come and do anything on it. So click, nothing happens. Now with JavaScript, it makes our web page or web application interactive to the user. When the user can take action, delete stuff, bring up forms, slides, anything that you see on the website. So as I told you, I like placing JavaScript right next before the closing body tag, because you can place the head section, but for easy loading for your website, always include these JavaScript files at the bottom. So what you're going to do is create a simple example here. We want when the user clicks this button, we get some alert displayed on the page. So we are going to come here and create some script tags. Sorry, right before the closing tag. And we are going to put script. As I told you, we can place the type attribute and we say it is text. stroke JavaScript. You're telling the browser what kind of file is this, but it is option even if you don't put that. Now what you're going to do, give an ID to this button, and we are going to call it btn, or yeah, let's call it btn. And what we are going to do now below here, since we have given this button an ID, to target it using JavaScript, we are just going to say document dot get element by ID. So now what you are trying to tell the browser is, go in the document and get the element that has the ID of btn. So basically now we have gotten this element that you're seeing with this ID of btn. You can end it with a semicolon, but still in the future or right now as we are going to be typing, we may need this same statement to work with it on the page, but we don't want to repeat ourselves repeating the same statement. So what you have to do is come in front of the word, create a variable. I'm just going to call it, let's say, info, and I assign it to this statement. So what we are doing, we are getting this statement and storing it inside this variable called info. So instead of us repeating the same statement, now we have created a simple form which will be carrying the same meaning. Now on that, we are just going to say info dot add event listener. So now what we are doing here, we want to add an event. When the user clicks it, we get some message. So we are adding some event listener on this button. Remember, we have got the button already, because here we say document.get element by ID, which is this. It has the ID of btn. Then assume if we never add this variable, we would write again document here dot get element by ID dot add event listener, but we have stored this statement inside this info word. So it is the same here, info dot add event listener, and the type of event we want to add on that button is a click. When the person clicks it, you put a comma, then you put the name of the function that you want to be executed when the user clicks this button. So we're just going to call it anything we want. It is user defined, and we say we're going to call it info inform user. So it is the function that we are going to be creating. So we come here and we say function, and we say inform user. Save this. So we want, when the user clicks this button, they inform the user. So we are just going to put a simple alert message, alert, and you say you subscribed. Whoa. Let's save that, reload the page. So when we click this button, we must see an alert in the browser telling the user you subscribe. As you can see, you subscribed. So meaning we have added some little interactivity on our web page. So I started with showing you how you can create a simple markup for HTML. This is HTML. Then these colors, we got them from CSS, and also applying some color to the background color to the button. Then with JavaScript, we added some little interactivity on the web page. So when the user clicks this, we get that alert message. So you subscribed. Very, very easy. So basically, that's the difference between these three languages. They're all front end based languages, but there are other languages that you can also put in libraries like jQuery in case you don't want to write all this code in JavaScript the way you're seeing here. There is a library for JavaScript that will make everything easy for you if you don't want to go deep into JavaScript. But still, before working with any framework of a language, You need to be knowing the basic how it is done in JavaScript. So very, very easy, guys. If this tutorial was useful to you, please feel free to subscribe, like the channel, share it on different social medias, and I'll be seeing you in the next tutorials. Peace.